Hi everyone, this is Siffa. Today I'm doing a very special video on spirituality and mental health, and I'm featuring on my channel Autumn Asphodel, and I'm very honored to have her on my channel. And I would like to thank her so much for joining me and helping me with this video. And she's going to give a brief introduction on herself and also talk about her struggles with mental health now.
Hi, everyone. My name is Autumn Asphodel, and I am a male to female transgender person, and I have dealt with depression and anxiety all my life. And just over the past few years, I've managed to overcome these struggles by many years of working and improving myself and going to therapy and overcoming all the trauma that I went through when I was a child. So basically, for me, I was abused at a very young age, and this caused me to have a lot of psychological problems, a lot of depression, also related to my gender identity not matching how I truly felt. Since I was born a male, I identified as a female. So the biggest struggles for me was just mainly overcoming this trauma and dealing with all the depression and anxiety associated with that, as well as being transgender. Over to you, Siffa.
Okay, well, so basically my struggles have been a lifelong issues that started when I was very young, as far as I can remember. I had issues with depression and anxiety, and I grew up in a fairly volatile household, and I had OCD when I was about 8 years old until I was about 10, and then was my mother was in a car crash when I was 13 that kind of sent me over the edge, and I began self-harming and starving myself, and I was then put in the hospital inpatient about 6 times until I was about 22 years old. And so since then I've been in recovery. I've been in therapy since I was 14 years old. I was told when I was 14 that I would never graduate high school, that I would never hold a job, and that I would never go to college. And I did go to college, and I got a graduate degree. Well, I got a undergrad degree, and now I'm working on my graduate degree. And so yeah, I've basically proven everyone wrong, and I still have a long way to go, and I'm still working on myself every day. But I'm really happy about how far I've come. So now, why don't we talk about how we got interested in spirituality? So, Autumn, what kind of sparked your interest, and why did you get into it, and what first got you started?
Well, the first thing I really remember was probably around the time that I was a teenager. And I've always kind of felt different my entire life, but when I became a teenager, that's when I really started to feel really different. I did start to have different kinds of thoughts that most people didn't have. And that was when I kind of stumbled across meditation and like psychic abilities and that sort of thing. And that's when I really started to become interested in all of that sort of thing and like the paranormal and those sorts of things that many people are just kind of not necessarily believe in. So that was kind of where it all started. And from that point, that was when I really learned just how powerful the human mind is. Because what I was able to do then was I really utilized hypnosis in order to kind of overcome a lot of the mental struggles that I had, such as anxiety, and that really helped. And then from there, it just gradually started to increase, where I became more knowledgeable in different spiritual practices, and I started to incorporate them more into my life, and I started to see the benefits of them. So that was pretty much the major spark for me that just kind of got me into this whole thing that really did help me through all the problems that I had and continues to help me and allows me to cope without the use of, medications and that sort of thing.
I have a question. When you were exploring and learning about all of this and actually healing yourself, how did you learn about it? Are you completely self-educated? Did you read books? Did you watch videos? Or did you have a mentor? How did you actually find out about all of this and do all of this?
Well, I would say the first time I kind of became familiar with everything was, again, when I was a teenager, there was a video game actually that I played, and it was about psychic abilities, and I just started to research online about it, and that was probably the biggest resource for me back then, because there was no one I could really talk to, since I felt like I was, kind of all alone with these kind of thoughts. Like there was no one else who really understood the kind of thoughts that I had.
Mhm.
So it was mostly research at first. And then probably over the past few years, that was when, there's a lot more information online from people actually having experiences, such as on YouTube. And that kind of broadened me up even more, hearing more personal experiences versus just general information.
Yeah, it's really amazing how people find different resources. And so like for me, mine was a little bit different because I actually started out most of my life, I've been a very devout Christian. And for me, that was always very healing for me. And I really enjoyed that. And whenever I stopped being a Christian when I was maybe 18 years old, I definitely felt a void in my life. And I felt like there was something missing. And I didn't want to become Christian again, but I knew that I wanted something in my life that was beyond everyday reality and everyday life. I knew that I needed something else. And so I had always read tarot cards. And but what really, I guess, kind of got me the most interested is that I was taking anthropology classes at my university, and I was getting my degree in psychology. And and I took a few classes on shamanism. And when I first learned about shamanism, it kind of lit something inside of me, and I just became I knew that it was something that I wanted to do. And also I had been meditating for a few years prior after during my recovery from anorexia. And so that's really how I got into it, was just kind of realizing that my life was going so downhill that I had to try something different. And also I wanted to fill this part of me that needed something more in life. And then I started reading books and taking classes at my university, and watching YouTube videos, and then I found communities in my area. I belong to a women's community that does a wide variety of spiritual events. Um, I also belong to a Buddhist sangha, which is like a Buddhist church that I go to, and and yeah, that's really how I got into it. And so why don't we go into the first of our questions? Is how do you use spirituality, and what specific types of rituals and practices do you do to help you find healing?
Well, definitely the first one would be meditation. And meditation is, well, it can mean something different to everyone. But for me personally, it's a time to kind of calm down my mind, because it's really helped train me to learn to deal with like intrusive thoughts and racing thoughts. So that's been very helpful with that. Um, so basically, that is something that I do incorporate into my life. The meditations, which allow me to relax myself and kind of view things more rationally. Other types of kind of aids for that would be such things as like utilizing crystals, which certainly help relax me as well. I have several that I use with meditation that certainly brings a lot of kind of clarity into my mind and just kind of aids me with being able to accomplish the meditation. Other things that have been really helpful are like chakra meditations, releasing negativity in the various chakras. This has been wonderful as well because not only can you like physically feel the negative energy kind of dissipating as positive energy is entering your body, but also it it has helped me with just kind of being more balanced just throughout my entire life because it used to be kind of unbalanced and there was a lot of signs that I would notice of it being unbalanced. So
Can I ask
that
you?
definitely has been very helpful as well.
I
Yeah.
was wondering, can you go into a little bit of detail? Because I don't think that people are necessarily as familiar with what chakras exactly are. So do you want to maybe go into some more detail about what chakras are?
Sure, yeah, because usually what it is there are 7 primary chakras from the base of the spine to the top of the head, and these are kind of energy centers of the body, and they all regulate different parts of the body, and they all serve different purposes. Um, I'm not going to go into detail about what each one does, but essentially, if one is unbalanced, like if it's underactive or overactive, you may experience some symptoms of what that specific chakra does. So if if your heart chakra is underactive, usually that can mean that your heart chakra generally means like love, and that it can definitely have an impact on like the love you feel for yourself and for others. You can be very angry, and a lot of emotions are associated with that chakra as well.
Okay. And what else do you use for spiritual healing?
Well, I've used the crystals before. Um, Different kinds of scents are very helpful, such as essential oils, can really help kind of relax and kind of enter into a relaxed state. Um, those are the primary ones I would say.
Okay, cool. I'm going to go into what I use for spiritual healing, and I use a wide variety of things, mostly because I feel that I'm still almost in a state of experimentation and finding what works best for me and what I really want to follow as far as my spiritual path goes. Now, one thing I do want to say is that it's okay to take different rituals and ideas from different beliefs and make it your own. And that's kind of what I'm doing right now. So, Autumn already covered meditation, but I also use meditation as a form of problem solving and receiving insight into my daily life or my spiritual life, and also getting in touch with my body and my physical body. And coming from someone who has had anorexia and eating disorders, meditation helps me get in touch with my physical body and actually feel it and become aware and at peace with my body. Um, for me, I find that I'm in Autumn. If you want to ask a question, feel free to just jump in. So,
Okay.
um, so I guess probably the one of the main things that I do is bathing rituals. I find that I am very sensitive to negative energy and any kind of negativity. So I can cleanse myself of this negativity by taking baths. And when I take baths, I follow a pretty detailed ritual, which is I make rose water. So I boil spring water with rose petals and usually eucalyptus too. And the rose petals are for cleansing. And then I put it in my bath water, and then I light a white candle and a black candle. And I take frankincense oil and I put it on the candle. And then I take 3 quartz stones and I get in the tub and I put salt in the tub too, regular sea salt. And then I sit in the tub for usually at least 45 minutes or so. And I put my head under the tub and I put the water all over my body. And I kind of soak in that water, and it makes me feel like all of the negativity and all of the sticky gunk is being sucked out of my consciousness and my soul. And it's incredibly cleansing. So I do that, especially if I'm worried that I'm entering an episode, like a major depressive episode, or if I've been feeling particularly bad lately, I will do a cleansing bath.
Can I just say that sounds absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
I wish I could do that. I'm not able to at the moment, but
Oh, you know, it's
that's
actually it's even better if you can get the water. I used to do it even more complicated. I used to get rainwater. I would collect rainwater and then I would sit it out under the full moon and then I would freeze it and then I would make the bath water with that. And that's even more powerful. But I found that doing the ritual less complicated works just as well anyway, but it is kind of fun and to do it the other way, you know.
wow. That is really impressive.
Right. Thanks. So what else I do is my other favorite things are drumming circles. I go to full moon drumming circles once a month at the women's center that I was talking about. And that for me is a time to basically get in touch with the cycles of the moon. And it can be healing for me in different ways because it allows me to work on whatever I want to work on at the time. So, for instance, whenever my father had a severe stroke and I went to the drumming circle, I was drumming and I was crying and I was grieving and I was able to get all of that out and just feel so much better. And it can also be a time for celebration or for just feeling beautiful energy and releasing any type of anger or any type of grief is drumming is great for. Um, also, I go on retreats, and retreats are good. I go on Buddhist retreats and just basic spiritual retreats, and those are really good for centering and just coming back to myself and coming back to my soul and just letting everything go for a few days and just focusing on being still inside of myself. Um, and then I practice shamanism, which is probably my what I call my best form of spirituality, which is what I'm the best at because I've been doing it basically my whole life. I've always had spirits visiting me as long as I can remember. I've had a guardian angel. I've had ancestors come to visit me. And through shamanism, I basically travel to a spirit world during in a trance, and in that spirit world, I encounter spirits and angels and power animals that guide me and give me healing and give me teach me lessons and tell me things that I need to know about myself and give me advice. And so that's really great. And probably the last thing that I want to talk about is amulets or any kind of protection or cleansing thing that I can wear on a daily basis. So I'm pretty much always wearing some kind of charmed amulet, and it's always for protection. Like I said, since I am so sensitive to negative energy and negativity in general, I'm always wearing an amulet. And this can be a specific stone, or it can be a regular pendant that I've charmed under the full moon to be a protective charm. Also, I wear frankincense oil most days to help with that as well. So yeah, that's pretty much what I do. Was that a lot? Was that too much?
That definitely is quite a bit, but it's whatever helps you. And
Right.
I think a lot of those things, all those things are just incredibly powerful. And while I've never done most of those things personally, it's just, I can just hear how much it helps you just from you saying the kind of effects that it has had on you.
Well, and I can tell you that actually since I've been doing this, I even just a year and a half ago, I was taking 5 psychiatric pills every day, different prescriptions. And now I've gone off of 2 of them within a year, which is huge. I'm not on an antidepressant. I have not had a depressive episode in over a year now. I haven't hurt myself. I haven't starved myself. And I really do feel like it has been from me finding my own power through spirituality. And I have had the luxury of time to do all of this because it does take time to do this. But I've been in between semesters and I've had time off because I am a student. My schedule is more flexible. So I think it is harder to translate into someone who is working a 9 to 5 job or has children. It is harder to find time for spirituality, but I believe that everyone should make at least, um, you know, has some time to care for yourself, even if it's just meditating for 5 minutes a day. I believe that everyone can be in touch with their spirituality in a much smaller way. You don't have to do everything. You can just find just some small things. Everyone can find something small to do. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I would, because it's all it is about is just making the time for it. Because if, as you said, if you can dedicate at least 5 minutes, that can have such a wonderful impact. And I know this from experience as well, where I would go days without any kind of like relaxation or meditation, and it really does just have a profound impact on your physical health, your mental health, and just feeling so stressed. So it's so important to make the time for it, because you can make the time for it.
Right. I also wanted to ask you something about you had said something about dealing with pain, and I want to talk a little bit more about the physical benefits of spiritual practices. So can you talk some about the physical, dealing with pain or dealing with any kind of physical element as far as spirituality goes?
Yeah. Usually with physical pain, it's definitely a lot more than just, oh, my back hurts, my legs hurt. Usually there is much more meaning there. So it could go back to the chakras, where one is unbalanced and it's trying to teach you that. Or it could be that you're kind of overworking yourself, so your body's trying to tell you something. And when you don't have a moment to kind of relax and get in touch with your body, what happens is that you end up kind of dismissing those signs. So if you have chronic pain and chronic illnesses that are physical, and you just kind of dismiss them by not really focusing on them, because meditation can be actually wonderful to kind of just focus your attention on the pain and see what's kind of causing it, because that is when you will get your answers, when you have that moment of clarity to really think about it and to really dive into the pain and actually like really feel it. So usually one of the best ways at alleviating the pain is to do those things, so you can recognize what is causing the pain. And I know for me personally, what I do when I have pain is I will close my eyes and I can visually see the pain on my body. So if my shoulders are hurting, I'll close my eyes and I can see just how tense my muscles are. This black, dark, thick, negative energy there. So then what I can do is I can focus on my breath, and as I'm breathing in, I will bring in healing energy to go to these areas, and then as I breathe out, it'll alleviate that pain as it just kind of exits my body. So that can be absolutely wonderful for physical pain and physical issues. And if you have chronic pain, that way they definitely take a bit longer to kind of tackle, but it certainly is possible just with kind of bringing your attention to it.
Well, I think that we can agree that obviously there is a huge and actually well studied and well documented, connection between mind, body, and spirit, and that is what
Mhm.
actually a lot of current therapies are based off of, and a lot of psychological illnesses do cause pain in the body and do cause disturbance in the body. You can get sick from stress, obviously, which is called psychosomatic illnesses. And so and that can come from spiritual distress as well. But so I think that if you have these types of illnesses that are from stress and from depression or frustration, then you can definitely help yourself with that. And also chronic pain can be managed well with meditation in general. So I definitely agree with that. Yeah. So now we're going to discuss the correlation between spirituality and mental health and how that kind of interrelates, or if there's like an interaction there. So I'm going to go first, and basically what I view spirituality in general, and that includes religion or any kind of ritual or practice, as a tool. And spirituality, in my opinion, can be anything from going to church or prayer or any type of religion, meditation, or even some people find spirituality in things such as going out in nature or just working out, dancing, creative arts. That can be spirituality for people. It can appear in so many different ways. And the key is to find whichever one speaks to you and whichever way heals you the best. Um, so basically, like I said about it being a tool, what I mean is that it's empowering. So for someone that may be struggling with a severe mental health issue, it can feel hopeless. But if you have something physical, a ritual, or something that you can actually physically do, it's very empowering to know that you can help yourself by doing a ritual or by painting a painting or by meditating. It just that alone, whether or not it works for you in a way that you expect it to, just doing that alone is a physical act of you doing something to change your life, and that is very empowering and powerful that we can do that for ourselves. So and the other thing is that with spirituality there comes faith. You have to believe in something, or you have to have faith that if you do something or if you pray or if you believe, that that will help you. And faith brings hope and it brings peace and healing. If you have something you believe in, then you have hope that things can get better and that things will get better. And hope is so healing and good for you. So what do you think, Autumn?
Yeah, I definitely agree with all of those ideas regarding spirituality, and it definitely is about finding what speaks to you. Quite literally, it's like what what is something that you are passionate about. It literally could be anything. It could be like the exercising is something you're very passionate about, or it could be doing something on the computer, talking like in front of groups of people, self-help, or so many different things that we all have something unique and different from anyone else. So that really ties into spirituality in a sense that it is finding that inner voice that you have, like finding your higher true self in a sense, because that is the one that knows the answer as to what thing you are most passionate about in this lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
And what ends up happening is that many people don't really find that thing that they're really passionate about, or they're not able to actually accomplish what they really want and desire. So they do end up feeling hopeless about it, and do end up feeling like they haven't accomplished anything at all, because they haven't really connected to their spiritual self. And once you kind of incorporate that into your work, everything just kind of feels right to you. It just
Mhm.
feels like you are living the life you are intended to live. It everything just feels just absolutely wonderful. So being able to kind of find that is a part of being able to connect with your spiritual self in however way you go about it. So many different ways of being able to kind of go about it.
Well, let me ask you another question that I've been curious about. As far as specifically mental health and your spiritual rituals and your meditation goes, do you find that you kind of practice meditation and cleansing on a daily basis as a form of prevention and a form of maintenance? Or do you also have something that you would do as an intervention if you are in a crisis situation or having a really bad day?
It would be both. It's probably more the latter of the two, to kind of help me cope with something, but I have used it for both purposes. Um, for that one, it would be like, if I am having a bad day, it does really help me kind of rationalize the thoughts that I'm having. So when I've it's definitely brought me out of such negative spots before. Like, if I've been severely depressed at something, there is always a reason, like, why I would be depressed. So what I've been able to do is just kind of meditate on that, and just really dive into the experience of why I'm feeling depressed, and kind of feel it fully, and then kind of let it go. Um, and what was the first one you mentioned?
Oh, it was just saying, you actually answered it. I was asking, do you
The
use spirituality
prevention?
more as a form of maintenance, like every day, or do you use it mostly when you need it? And I think you kind
Oh,
of
okay.
got that.
Yeah, yeah, but also, like, with the other thing, it can be, yes, it I definitely use it to help me with something negative, but I've definitely used it to help me with trying to achieve something. So if another big thing it really helps with is, like, creativity. So if I'm just kind of lost my creativity for a bit because I've exhausted it, then that can kind of help kind of get those thoughts kind of flowing in. Um, I've definitely meditated on specific goals that I want to achieve in my life, specific things that perhaps are kind of going wrong in my life. Like if I like in the past, when I've been very anxious about kind of leaving the house, I've meditated on that, and I understood where I wanted to be, which was be able to leave the house more, be more confident going out into public places, and that's what's managed to help me achieve that goal, because I had that goal in mind, and it was a positive intention that I set for myself.
I was actually going to ask you if you had any, um, this is a bad phrasing, but if you'd had any real life results from your practice, and I'm glad to hear that you have had some like that, um, some more tangible and results from your practice. Um, so why don't we move on to our final question, which is, advice for someone that wants to start on this journey, that wants to start on a journey of spiritual healing, whether it be through religion or meditation, or just someone that is curious and wants a way to start?
Well, I would definitely say that you kind of have to first have a goal in a mind. So you can't really have a plan set until you kind of have a goal. So that is definitely the first thing. And probably one of the major things that has helped me has been to kind of use your advantages. I'm sorry, use your disadvantages as your advantages. So usually if you are struggling with like a lot of anxiety and it's very difficult for you to kind of leave the house and do those sorts of things, try to find something that is a little bit easier for you to do, to kind of take those steps at being able to kind of go out there. And then once you kind of do that, then I definitely think that more things start to kind of come to you, and especially related to the spiritual aspects. It's mostly about, again, finding what you are passionate about. So if you have a passion, going back to the example about the anxiety, if you have a passion to be a public speaker, but you're so anxious, you can't really expect to, be anxious one day and then be a public speaker the next. It takes a lot of work to be able to do that. So you already have right there what your goal is. So you want to be able to incorporate what spiritual practices that you would think would be helpful to you, to be able to get you to be able to achieve that goal that you have. Because ultimately, if you have a goal in place and you have steps that you can take to get there, then you can accomplish anything you set your mind to. And even if you don't manage to necessarily achieve it in the time that you want, or exactly how you want it, that's not failure. That's steps that you've made up to a certain point, and then maybe you need to kind of reevaluate what it is that you want to do with your life, and then go towards that direction. Since not always the first direction you go towards is the only one. There are many.
I think what you just said actually reminded me of a few things that I just want to mention. In that, I know a lot of people start out with spirituality, and that they may feel two things that are very typical. Number one, they may feel like they're not getting results, and this is
Oh yeah.
something that yeah, because I think we both know that it takes forever to see results, and at least for me it did. And I think it's pretty common
Mhm.
for people that have had serious mental illnesses and trauma. This isn't going to be fixed overnight, and so you can't give up. And I know a lot of people that have meditated once and they said, oh, I couldn't concentrate, or oh, I didn't like it. All of this takes practice, and all of this takes dedication. But and also I want to say that as far as the things that I do that may deal with more trance-like states, it's the same thing. If you practice shamanism or try to do a ritual, if you're not able to enter a trance-like state, don't be discouraged, because it can come with time. And the first time that you try to enter a trance-like state, it may not happen, but that doesn't mean that you can't do it. It just means you need to try again, or try a different way. And I guess that my advice when starting out would be to try to find a mentor, or try to find someone who you agree with or who you look up to, and learn from this person. They can be someone in your life, they can be an author or a YouTuber, or someone, a friend, a family member, someone that you can get advice from, and they can kind of lead you on your journey. Um, Also, I guess my last piece of advice is don't be afraid to mix and match. You don't have to just follow one pathway. You don't have to just be a Buddhist or just be a pagan or just be a shamanistic practitioner or just be, Zen. You can mix and match and find what works best for you. And I do a little bit of everything, and that's what I like to do. I like the fun and the excitement of doing something different all the time. And also, if you're going to follow a specific ritual or do a specific type of practice, it's always a good idea to make it your own. It's actually more powerful for you to alter a ritual or a spell and make it more of your own. So don't worry about following things to the T and making everything exactly how it is prescribed that you may find or be recommended to you. So you can alter your rituals and alter your practice to suit you, and that actually is more powerful than just following what you've been told or what you have researched.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with that, because it's like sometimes it can feel hopeless when you're trying to accomplish something, and like I'm never going to achieve the results, and then next thing that may happen if you continue to work on it, it just you really do start to kind of see the results, and it's not an overnight. It's very very little change, but if you kind of document it, like if you like I know for me, I've made videos and I look back to like my early stuff and it's like, wow, it's such a huge change. So and absolutely, it's also about making something your own, because when you can customize it, you feel so much more proud of it, because it's like I've made this my own. It's not someone else's. It is mine now. I can kind of do it how I like, and it's so much more fun. So all of those things are just absolutely wonderful to kind of really get you going and kind of keep you on track, because you may kind of drift off, and you will drift off not now and again, but you can get right back on it.
I think one of the last things that I want to say is that, kind of going off what I think you may have been trying to say earlier, is that, or at least what I got from what you were saying, is that I think that for someone that is new, or when you're starting, is that if you just kind of try one thing, it can kind of open up this whole world of experiences and it can open up this wide variety of things you want to do. So if you just try one thing, you might find more ideas and more inspiration coming from different directions, and it's kind of a jumping off point. So just trying meditating, you may find other things you want to do or find different ideas.
Absolutely, yeah, because that can be kind of like if you use like a metaphor of like a bridge. You cross that first bridge, and then you get to a road that kind of splits, and it's like, well, this one is probably the better path over this one, and because it just kind of draws you that away.
Mm-hmm.
So you just kind of, it's just going based off of what that pull is in a side of you, because when you kind of have that pull just guiding you in that direction, that's when you know that you are headed down the right path, because it just feels right.
Right. And it can kind of be like, what is I know there's a metaphor too about kind of like pulling out like a little stone in the dam. If you pull out one stone in the dam, then it all comes rushing through slowly, but then it all comes rushing through. And it kind of opens up this gateway into all of this that is new and exciting, and a whole new world. As corny as that sounds, but it's true.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. So I think that we have discussed pretty much everything that we wanted to get to. Did you have anything else you wanted to add, Autumn?
um Probably the only thing would be to really say to you, specifically that I think it's just absolutely wonderful what you've managed to overcome from what I heard you say, and how you've really used, these spiritual practices and what you're really into to kind of heal yourself. That's such a wonderful thing, and I wish you can continued success at being able to overcome, all the obstacles that lie in the path up ahead. Because I'm sure there are definitely more obstacles for everyone, but I think you definitely have a lot of strength now to be able to overcome them and not really look back and go back anymore. You don't.
Oh, thank you so much. And I definitely want to thank you for sharing your wisdom. And I think that you were, from what you've been through and the experiences that you've had, and your knowledge and learning and healing yourself has given you the ability to actually teach and heal people just through sharing your stories and your experiences. And I think that's what makes you such a great person. And you're very inspiring to me and to many people. And hearing what you've been through and how far you've come is definitely inspiring. And I think that if people hear your stories and they see how you are now, and obviously you're not perfect now, but the huge change and just the way that you talk and the way that you come off, you just seem like you're so at peace, and I don't, and I'm not going to speak for you, but that's what you seem to me. And it's just inspiring that I think that if a lot of people see you, they can think, wow, if she went through all of that and look at her now, look at how she's doing now. That's very inspiring to people.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, I guess it's it's not that I personally, set out on a goal to really kind of inspire people. It's kind of, when I started, I just wanted to kind of tell my story and just kind of try to find some people I could relate to, and just try to like help and kind of express my own views. But over time, I certainly see how I have managed to really help a lot of people. And it kind of goes back to that passion for that within myself. It's something that I'm very passionate about, and I'll continue to work on myself, and continue to help anyone else who needs any kind of help, because that's something I'm passionate about.
I just want to say thank you so much for sharing this video with me. And you are such a beautiful and strong person. And I really am very honored that you have shared your wisdom with me today. And thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much for having me on. This was a wonderful conversation, and I'm very glad that we could have it.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. And please check out Autumn's channel and subscribe to both of us. I will have her information below. And Autumn, you have a lovely day. Okay, it was great chatting.
You have a lovely day too, and all y'all watching.
Okay, bye guys.